Hi class. So far in our rehabilitation engineering sessions, we have discussed preventive rehabilitation. We have discussed what is health. We have discussed rehabilitation in general, right? However, like we were discussing in the preventive rehabilitation section, that having a disabled person at home or in your family does have its economic impact on an individual. So let us discuss what are the kind of economic impact a person will face. So a person with disability would often rely on a carer or someone who would assist them to do their to perform their activities of daily living. When I say activities of daily living, it means the activities that an individual would normally do by himself or herself, right? So this carer could be a family member, a wife, a husband, or a son or a daughter. Or this carer could be a specialized nurse or a person specialized in taking care of these people. I mean the disabled people. Now, if a person is like if it's a professional carer, then the family that is employing the carer has to bear the economic impact of it. But the carer is his or her profession, so they would devote their time in assisting the disabled person. But if it is the family member, then the family member not only takes care of his or her work, they also take care of the disabled person's work. So it is double, like it's double work for basically the carer. I mean, I'm not trying to say that a wife shouldn't take care of her husband or a husband should take care of their wife and they're disabled. I'm not trying to say that at all. But if we look at the facts, then a disabled person has got this mental pressure on himself or herself that a normal task that would take them a few seconds to do, they're not able to do it. They're relying on someone else to do it for them. And the carer, on the other hand, not only takes care of his or her daily day-to-day work, but also takes care of the day-to-day activities of the disabled. So it is quite a lot of work for one particular individual. So if the rehabilitation scheme is successful, right, if the person, disabled person undergoes a successful rehabilitation therapy, so that they are independent to do some of their, if not all, then some of their activities of daily living, right? If that is given to them, then the individual will have some self-confidence saying that okay, yes, I can do something on my own. I don't have to rely on someone else for the rest of my life, and so on. So that not only gives them the motivation to live, it also gives them something to do, right? So they can also, and the other issue that usually occurs is if the individual is the breadwinner, right? If they are the only earning person and they get disabled, then the family has got a big economic impact, big, stairs to climb. So if the husband's the earning person and he is disabled, then if the wife has to take care of the husband, she cannot go and win the bread. So that it's like a vicious circle. Everyone gets affected, and that has a huge impact on the economy of the family as such. I'm not talking about the economy of the country or the globe at this moment. I'm just talking about a particular family. So now, impairment, disability, and handicap. These words are synonymously used on general conversation, right? Generally, if it's a handy, if it's a if we see a disabled person, we just say like, oh, he or she is handicapped, or person with hearing impairment, or deaf, we just call them handicaps. But WHO has got the International Classification of Impairments, Disability and Handicaps, which gives the following definitions for the three. Impairment is any loss or abnormality in psychological, physiological, or anatomical structure or function. For example, loss of a finger, that is an impairment. However, that is a disability only when the loss of a finger hampers a person's ability to perform an activity which he or she were able to perform when they had a finger. For example, someone with an amputated thumb. It's an impairment. However, it becomes a disability when it affects their ability to hold a pen and write, or hold a spoon and eat. Right? Handicap is a disadvantage for an individual in his or her social context resulting from an impairment. For example, in really old buildings, we don't have wheelchair access. Like modern building, India is like evolving in that sense as well. Yeah, right. So we are like, there are disability parking. There is, all the malls have got wheelchair ramps and everything. But in older building, there's no wheelchair access. So a person with who's wheelchair bound, say a paraplegic or a tetraplegic person who's wheelchair bound, if he or she does not have a ramp where they can use their wheelchair to locomote, then that becomes a handicap, right? It is not because, just because them being in the wheelchair is not handicap because they're able to locomote. That is a disability because they're not able to walk, right? However, handicap means the inability of a person to use their aid to overcome their disability. Right? Difficulty in walking can be a disability. Amputation of toes can be an impairment. For example, amputation of the big toe is an impairment. However, if that amputation results in difficulty in walking, then that becomes a disability. And if that difficulty in walking is impairing a person's ability to locomote around the society, then that becomes a handicap. So these are the three difference these are the differences between the three terms. Subtle differences, but very, very distinct. I hope you understood the concept of impairment, disability, and handicap. Please feel free to get back to me if you have any questions. Thank you very much for watching.